Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another video, all things college football. We had another great week of games. We had Bama versus Missouri. A little bit later during the day, we had Georgia versus Auburn. We also had, the Red River between Oklahoma and Texas. There's been a lot of change in the top 25, and so what I thought I'd do is I'd look at the rankings, just give my thoughts and opinions a little bit on it, and where I think, okay, this makes sense versus where it doesn't. Let's jump into the video. So like I said, I thought I'd give my reactions after some of these big games, and obviously the one that stands out the most, and I said it a little bit in my post-game reaction, is let's not be surprised if Indiana jumps up to number 3 and takes Oregon's spot, because it's like, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And of course, when you look at it, Indiana's jumped up to 3. Miami's sitting at idle at 2, and then Ohio State at 1. It's kind of no shocker or surprise with those two. Now I think Miami did luck out just a little bit when it comes to scheduling and stuff, because they were talking about it after the FSU game where they only had to play, because they had a bye before the FSU game, but they only had to play one game in the span of about a month, where they have a bye week, play Florida State, and then have another bye week, and then get rolling into some things. So they've been sitting for a while. So only one game in 21 days, pretty good. So then we have Texas A&M though. Everybody's still sleeping on them. I'm not gonna lie, I still fall into that category because Texas A&M has a few big games coming up still. Up until this point, let's look at their schedule. They got LSU and Missouri, and I think, let's not forget, very end of this season. So I think for the fate and a destiny, if you want to call it that, everything is still ahead of them. I'm not going to overact or underact too much. Then with Ole Miss, we can see where Ole Miss is, and everybody knows the biggest game coming up though is going to be the one between the hedges against Georgia next Saturday. I think easily Georgia wins this one against Ole Miss, no doubt. They'll probably swap spots just like how Oregon and Indiana did. I think now moving down a little bit more, Bama at 6, that does make sense. We are far, far away from their week 1 loss against FSU. I'll admit I kind of jumped on the bandwagon a little bit, maybe they're not but it has just shown what kind of team Bama is after everybody wrote them off. And look at where they're at. They're just outside the top 5. They're sitting at 5-1, where okay, if LSU, Auburn, if nobody gets in their way, this team's going to the SEC championship and potentially winning it. After we're already calling for DeBoer, putting him on the hot seat. Oh, Ty Simpson's a bust. Look how much college football has changed in just the amount of 6 weeks. See how, it's kind of crazy to say that, but yeah. We'll move a little bit more. Texas Tech sitting here at 7. I thought the Kansas game could have been a little bit of a challenge for them, because I still think there's a lot of teams in the Big 12 where throw the record away. You look at K-State, you look at TCU, you look at Kansas, you look at Arizona State. There are still some parity, and there's some teams that I think could give, these higher ranked teams fits. Look at what happened to Iowa State yesterday with Colorado, which is exactly why they're not ranked, and is why I'm not surprised they're not ranked. Okay, then you scroll down a little bit more, you got Oregon. I think Oregon should not panic too much. Shouldn't panic too much. Look at just who they have ahead of them. You go take care of business against these 3 teams. I could see this being another trap game. Even maybe, not the right now, but I could see an Iowa game be a trap game a little bit, take care of business there. And then when we hold out, because I think SC and Washington have a chance of continuing to win and be, a threat, Oregon's going to find themselves back within talks of, hey, a Big Ten championship. And I know they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast, and that's kind of the overarching theme on okay, whoever wins this game's in the driver's seat. Well, now we gotta, they have to win out, but then also get a little bit of help on, someone's got to trip up Ohio State. I don't know who's it's going to be. And then somebody has to get the Hoosiers too, because if Indiana and Ohio State end up winning out, we've seen the standings. We know who it's going to be. Moving right along, Georgia and LSU still in the top 10 makes sense. Both of them are 5-1, and I think we're starting to get into that point too. And you can throw Tennessee and Georgia Tech in there as well. Undefeated team that I think is getting slept on a little bit is Georgia Tech, but probably just because of the quality of win, how that Clemson win doesn't favor them as much anymore, especially also too with how Wake Forest kept it close and how they're probably going to keep Georgia Tech back just a little bit until it's time to, okay, these guys, they win and they beat, because I think they have Miami coming up here. No, they don't. They don't have Miami. But for Georgia Tech, considering who they have for the remainder of their season, I don't think they'll probably crack the top. Well, if they continue to go undefeated, yes, eventually they will crack the top 10, because sooner or later, because of how these teams will play one another, because Georgia's going to play Ole Miss, Bama is going to play Tennessee as well. Teams will start to drop, and that will be what inches Georgia Tech closer into the top 10. But Georgia Tech, we kind of know after the Clemson win, unless the other teams that they play, like Duke, like NC State, unless they get ranked, they're only going to get credit after they beat Georgia. And they're not going to get any credit until the very end of the season. Kind of like how it is for Texas A&M as well, where it's like, you went undefeated, whatever. All right, then we got Notre Dame. They come off of their win against NC State. It was a slow game there for a minute, not going to lie. And then we got Oklahoma dropping 8 spots. It does make sense just because of how, a lot of people thought they were going to beat Texas. We've seen how Texas has performed the last handful of games. Seemed like an easy win, but again, college football is something else where people do play angry football. BYU survived. They moved to 6-0. I would say BYU, okay, hear me out. BYU, Georgia Tech, and Texas Tech. All of these quiet 6-0 teams that aren't getting as much attention as they should be, which, you kind of got to look at who they're playing to. Like, it does kind of make sense. It has its moments. But, BYU escaped in double overtime against Arizona. That could have easily dropped them down if they lost that, but they move up 3 more spots. They do have quality wins. They got the Arizona win. They got a quality win against West Virginia, Colorado. I think Iowa State could get back in the ranks if they continue to win, maybe when they meet up. But I think what's going to help BYU jump is if they beat Utah, because BYU versus Utah, that's going to be a pretty big game. But then the other, the slate of games that they have, it's kind of like ASU as well too. They still have a chance. You just got to go win these games, because it's not going to come easy, and I think there's a lot of parity in the Big 12. All right, Missouri dropping down a little bit after their loss to Bama. It's okay. I think they can still fight for an SEC spot, because who else do they have coming up? Oh yeah. Look at this. 1, 2, 3 ranked teams. Oh, you missed one. 1, 2, 3 ranked teams to get right back in this. Okay, so they'll be fine. Vandy, I think Vandy had a bye. Virginia, okay. South Florida beat North Texas. That was 66 points. And what they have, 28 points in the third quarter, something like a huge explosion. That game had trap game written all over it, considering they're gonna go play an undefeated team on the road. SC moving up a little bit because of their win against Michigan. They get some love. Wait, does that mean Michigan? Michigan's out. Okay, Michigan is out. I did not expect that. I did not expect Michigan to be out, but just look at who Michigan has upcoming. They can get back into the top 25 easy. Let's go look and see who they got. Maybe not. Because look. They got Washington, Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern. Well, if Northwestern keeps winning, maybe Northwestern could find themselves from 20 to 25. Then they got Maryland, and then they got Ohio State. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe Michigan might not find themselves ranked until. But if they win 3 in a row here, it'd be hard to not rank them again. I don't know, but of course, everybody, we know, we've been circling this one since last November. So you got SC, you got Texas moving back into it. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams were not ranked last week, and it's all these teams except Memphis. Don't kid yourself. They're probably not going to win this one. And then Iowa, because, I mean, we saw what Iowa did to Wisconsin the other night. Absolutely thumped them. So, we'll just have to see about Nebraska. And again, like, when we get down to here between teams 20 through 25, it shifts. It's always shifting and it's always moving. Clearly so when, USC, Texas, Utah, Cincinnati, and Nebraska, 5 of these teams weren't even ranked last week. But I agree with where some of these teams are ranked. I mean, Illinois dropped out, Michigan dropped out, Washington trying to fight their way back in. I think they could find themselves ranked within the coming weeks if they just keep winning. Same with Iowa State. Florida State, I saw that they got dropped out, but that's, they lose to Pitt. You shouldn't be losing to Pitt. Florida State's probably not going to find themselves ranked. All right, well, that's all of them, I guess. So yeah, people, that's my reaction to the rankings. I think it's right. It just feels right because now it's starting to form. Like we can see, okay, the Cyclones are who we thought they were. Texas Tech is still going to keep winning. Bama, damn, they might be back. Who knows? It will all. It'll all figure itself out eventually. But what do you guys think? Who are your top teams? Which teams do you think could make a run at it? Be sure to let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.